All right.
Reverend Lane Morgan, CSL Tampa Bay Senior Minister.
What do you think?
And
You're gonna
CSL
start
Region
it.
9 Support
No,
Coordinator.
Lane and I should be here. And then you and okay.
And now our graduates.
Which one?
Anthony Suarez,
By Cindy down. She's gonna introduce you.
Greater Orlando CSL.
Decided I'd just stay until I found out where I was supposed to be.
Chris Leahy, Spiritual Director, CSL Cape Coral.
Woo!
Diana Escobar, graduate, CSL Manatee.
Yay!
Vicki Jeter, Contract Spiritual Director, Louisville Center for Spiritual Living.
Yeah, we need to keep clapping.
And we have 2 graduates joining us today via Zoom. So on the screen, you can see them. We have Gina Covario Kupra and also Laura Topper.
Thank you. I forgot.
I am not Reverend Martin Preston.
Tell us so we can sit.
Oh, yes. You guys can sit, sorry.
It's very cozy.
So Reverend Martin can't be
Yeah,
with us today.
this.
I'm used to be one of the people that fill this pulpit, so I feel comfortable in welcoming you here to Greater Orlando Center for Spiritual Living and to the convocation.
Yes.
I wasn't prepared for this part. To this convocation of graduates of our spiritual school of spiritual leadership, Florida campus. So thank you for being here. I know you're going to have a wonderful time, and let's get on with the important work.
Oh, invocation, please.
Oh, yes, it does say that. Now I get to read some letters. Got a little busy here. It is always good to know that Spirit walks every step of our lives with us. And so I know that Spirit has walked itself into this room as it lives in this room when we are away, that it has showed up as each and every one here, and most especially as these new graduates who are dedicating themselves to spreading this wonderful teaching throughout the land. I know that our purpose here today to celebrate them, to feel the love that we have for them, to support them in this moment of stepping into something new, is filled with joy, filled with love, goes with ease, stays connected throughout this world, because that's required these days for us to come together, and that all goes well. It is God's high intent that brings us here, and it is that high intent we carry out with such love. Knowing it is so, I let it be. And so it is.
So it is.
You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings. And with every step you take, bless the progress you will make. The reason you live is found in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do
I might use it as a prop in my talk. Thank you for leaving it there.
Amazing, you will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. Oh, the places you will go and the people that you will know. Don't worry when or where or how. You don't have to know that now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings, 'cause you will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. I said amazing, you will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. Close your eyes and take a breath and smile. Amazing. Amazing things. Amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing things.
Beautiful. Oh, that was so well done. And if you look at your programs, this is Jonathan Brown and Ascend. So, a band that he put together. Yeah. So it's my opportunity to welcome you to the 2023 graduations of the Holmes Institute and the School of Spiritual Leadership Florida campus. And I'll tell you what, I'm excited to be here standing before you because all of these graduates have been with me mostly 3 to 6 years, and keeping them on track and going through school and doing every class. I mean, it's pretty intensive, don't you think? Yeah. And we appreciate all of our faculty also. Now, I'm going to ask the graduates just to stand and turn around and ask your family and friends to stand up right now. Or just one at a time. Tony, you do it first. Tony gets to go first. And couple of them I think are taking part. in it a little bit. Okay, Chris. Yay!
Look up they are. Wow.
Actually, they can come up and sit behind you if they'd like to be closer. Oh, that's so great. All right, Vicki? Yes. And what about Cindy? Well, almost. Yeah. Okay, and then we're starting with Gina Krupke. I don't think I say that right. Calvario, thank you.
They're off screen, but it's great to be
Yeah,
with
we're
you.
not talking at this point. If whoever is putting your stole on, he could slip into there. But that'll be later. We'll be doing
Oh,
that
there we
later.
go.
Okay, and then I think Laura. Yes. She is from England. Okay, Laura, I'm going to ask, where's your tassel? Okay. Put it on your right side.
For
Yeah,
now.
I gotta teach you. We have to teach you the US ways, right? We're glad you're here. All right, now, we all know that it takes a village to raise a minister. And I join our graduates in thanking their family and friends, and I know that they're going to be speaking to that later. So I want to introduce the faculty, because our special family is all of the faculty of the Florida campus. So here today that could be with us is Reverend Dr. Peggy Hostetler. Just stay standing, Peggy. And then Reverend Marilyn Earhart. She is also our campus director. Now, in case you don't know about it, those that are visiting, we've been in business 12 years. We started with a satellite and then moved into a campus. So we have been doing this together for 12 years, and it's been wonderful. Okay, let's go to Reverend Cindy Shellum. Where did Jonathan go?
Yeah, in the back.
And Jonathan Brown. He teaches our music. Could you think anything different? And he also, I just have to say, he was at the retreat in April. It was an all-campus retreat. They hired him to do the music all weekend, and it was fabulous. So, thank you. And then Dr. Tony LaMotta, she could not be with us today, but she is very much, she's teaching this summer. Some of our current students are taking her class. Okay, now, oh, and myself, yes. Thank you, Marilyn. Okay, now, do we have any current students here? I know we have one,
Yes.
but I'm not sure. I didn't think I. Oh, Malika's there. Malika and Sherry, stand up. Please. I know that they're going to be ready for the next graduation because they've seen this one. So that's good. All right, and now we go to our Global Heart Vision and Declaration of Principles by two of our alumni, Cindy Grimes from Ocala and Teresa Fiebert from CSL Cultural Coast, Sarasota. Okay, it's all yours.
Just lean in.
Yeah.
I'm reading the Declaration of Principles. We believe in God, living spirit almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by it. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God.
We envision all people, all beings, and all life as
We believe in the individualization of the spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one spirit.
we see a world in which each and every person lives in alignment with his or her highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other, a world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action.
We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding.
We envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of God. A world where each and every person discovers their own personal power and ability to create an individual life that works in a world that works for everyone.
We believe that heaven is within us and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it.
We envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life. A world where this kinship with life prospers and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience.
We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete freedom from all discord of every nature, and this goal is sure to be attained by all.
We envision a world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience in every area of the political, corporate, academic, and social sectors, providing sustainable structures to further the emerging global consciousness.
We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence.
We envision a world where each and every person has enough food, a home, and a sense of belonging. A world of peace and harmony, enfranchisement and justice.
We believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of this truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God.
We envision a world in which resources are valued, cared for, and grown, and where there is generous and continuous sharing of these resources.
We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it.
We envision a worldwide culture in which forgiveness, whether for errors, injustice, or debts, is the norm.
We believe in the healing of the sick and control of conditions through the power of his mind.
We envision a world which has renewed its emphasis on beauty, nature, and love through the resurgence of creativity, art, and aesthetics.
We believe in the eternal goodness and the eternal loving kindness and the eternal givingness of life to all.
We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation.
We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand that the life of all is God.
Now, I wasn't going to do anything here, but I felt like I needed to because of Reverend Martin having the medical incident before this afternoon and having been taken to the hospital. And when you have to quickly decide, and of course, Reverend Peggy and Reverend Cindy were the ministers here before Reverend Martin came for about 5 years, I think.
7.
Oh, wow. Well, I started with him in 2016, so I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't count well. All right, and we
Just last
got some letters. I asked Reverend Sony Cantrell, who is the spiritual leader of the Centers for Spiritual Leadership, just elected, not spiritual leader, Centers for Spiritual Living. And she was elected in February, and I wanted her to write a letter for our graduates. And she did, and you are going to enjoy, as Reverend Cindy reads those letters, and a letter from Reverend Dr. Cece Coltrane, who is the president of Holmes Institute and director of the School for Spiritual Leadership. And there is one from her now. I am going to tell you, I have asked for this to happen for 12 years, so that they would have letters from the Home Office recognizing who will be the newest ministers in our international movement today. And these two did that for me, so I am excited. So Cindy, will you share these letters with us?
The long one or the short one? Beloved students, what an amazing day it is. I am sorry my schedule did not permit me to attend your graduation ceremony. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to you today. On behalf of Centers for Spiritual Living, congratulations, Diana Escobar, Ricky Jeter, Gina Cavario Prenda, Chris Wyatt, Anthony Suarez, and Laura Copper. We are incredibly proud of your accomplishment. This is an outstanding achievement and calls for a grand celebration. Be proud of this moment and know you deserve all the success. I am keenly aware of the long hours of work you have completed and the devotion required to be here this day. As you honor yourself and your colleagues, keep in mind the journey is just beginning. You have said yes and answered the call to step into a greater expression of the honor. Maybe your yes will be a loud yes. Maybe it is a mumbling, very audible in your own ears. However, your yes has joined with a great company of believers seeking to amplify Spirit's work in the world. You are standing on the shoulders of giants. Understanding and living into your call is a lifelong journey of learning, to trust and walk closely with and as Spirit. As Howard Thurman wrote, there is something in every one of you that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in yourself. It is the only true guide that you will ever have. And if you cannot hear it, you will, all of your life, spend your days on the ends of strings that somebody else pulls. Be authentic. You're the only person you can be. You have your personality, your mind, and your truth. If you're not true to yourself, you will find yourself trying to please everyone else while forgetting what makes you happy and how to be authentic. Don't turn your ministry into sacrifice. You will be called upon to be caring and therefore vulnerable, and people will be people. What I hope for you is that you take care of your soft places first, your family and your close friends. They will give you a place to land when things are hard. And last but certainly not least, do not forget your spiritual practices. Love yourself first. If you do this, everything else will fall in place to support your love. Welcome to ministry. Enjoy the ride. Peace and blessings. Reverend Sonny Cantrell Smith, CSL Spiritual Leader.
It's nice. Isn't that a great letter?
And a short one. Dear graduates, what a blessed, wonderful time in your lives. After all your years of hard work, you are stepping out as the spiritual leaders you already are, ready to be recognized as such by the world. I so appreciate working with each of you over the past years, watching you learn and grow and standing in awe of your beauty and strength. Each of you will change your corner of the world in beautiful ways, and I look forward to seeing what the future brings. I bless you, I congratulate you, and thank you for responding to the deep call of Spirit upon your lives. Love and blessings, Reverend Dr. C.C. Coltrane, President of Holmes Institute.
You see. Do you know how beautiful you are? Can you feel the power that you hold? Do you see the light within your heart? Always there for you to have and hold. Have you found the truth in all that is? Will you hold the hand that leads the way? Do you look inside to wake your dreams? Knowing God is everywhere and more. You are the power, it's all inside of you. As you connect with it and clear the way, that's all you need to do. I can feel the power that I am. I can hear the voice within my soul, knowing I am God and God is me. I now see the beauty of it all. I am the power, it's all inside of me. As I say my prayers and love each day, my light shines back at me. You have it all, it's there in you. I have it all, it's here in me. I know that you can find the way. You can open your heart today. Right now's the time to realize within our hearts. Just look inside to know the way. You know the way. We are the power. We have it all as one. We can live each day in love and truth, knowing we are free. We are the power. We have it all, it's true. As we close our eyes and realize love comes shining through. As we close our eyes and realize that's all we have to do.
A lovely smile today, doesn't she?
Okay, Laura, that was beautiful. Gorgeous. Isn't it exciting to have a graduate with that much talent in the music area? And she has a beautiful website up and doing her ministry from there in England. And she got the Global Award for a practitioner this last year because of all the work she does globally. So it's exciting. Okay, now I declare the educational convocation of the Holmes Institute and the School of Spiritual Leadership, Florida campus, formally open. We will begin with the excerpts from your call of ministry delivered by Reverend Maria Clementi. And she is the senior minister now of CSL Manatee and one of the mentors for our dear Diana Escobar. So will you come forward, please?
Congratulations to our graduates. I know that as you go forth, you will not only speak your word, you do your word. And so it is. There's some wisdom from our beloved founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes. Excerpts from a call to ministry, March 8th, 1955. And Ernest, our beloved, tells us, first of all, it would be impossible in our field to be a good leader without being a good practitioner. There is no such thing in our field as a teacher teaching people how to practice unless he knows how to practice himself and unless he constantly practices. He can only know that he knows by the results he gets. Leadership is spiritual leadership. The organizational leadership you can learn about in any organization. A good group of intelligent people and let them run it. Your leadership is spiritual leadership. A leadership that can only come automatically as a result of your having had inward spiritual experience. The audience comes to you, and they are hungry to know that there is some intimate relationship you have with the universe. They are hungry to know that as a result of that, something definite will happen out here. Make everything you do the result of your consciousness. Spend much time treating the audience until you know that they are healing. No one should be in this work unless they love you. I mean a love of people, no matter what they do, what they say, or how they act, because we are all children. We are all hell-bent for heaven, just the same. The whole world is looking for something that it will feel safe in, something that at last will not let them down. I think that the ministry in our field is the most profoundly deep, intellectually, philosophically, and psychologically. It has a very deep element of mysticism, which it must be art. Just cold facts will not satisfy people, and just teaching people how to get things will not satisfy them. That's a byproduct. It's another kind of wholeness that people are after. We have to speak as Jesus spoke, and as Abraham Lincoln spoke, and as every great and wise person that has ever lived speaks. Every leader in our field has to be healing himself all the time in our present state of evolution. So that which he does is real. And until the mouth automatically accents what is there in the heart. So,
Hello again. I am Reverend Cindy Shallow. I am an alumna of the Florida campus. I graduated in 2010 while it was still a satellite Denver campus. I've taught a couple of classes, so I am a faculty member, and I am recently retired from co-ministry at this center, which this center became the sponsor and physical home of the school in 2017. In all of those roles, I've had the great good fortune to learn from and be loved by Reverend Dr. Peggy Hostetler. I've been in this teaching coming up on 40 years. Dr. Peggy, over 50. That does not mean we're old, it means we were very, very wise young women. I found my way to science of mind in one of those God ways that we call accidental. Dr. Peggy sought it out. And when she found what she was looking for, she was all in. She arrived at this center in 1985. She taught youth. She completed her practitioner training, and she completed her ministerial training here. In 1995, she began her ministry in Ocala. During her 20 years at Oak Brook, she did too many things for me to talk about in a brief introduction. Most pertinent to what we're here for today is she taught at the school, and she was a participant and supporter in what I understand was the arduous application process to make Florida a single campus, to make it its own campus. And that happened in 2014. So about a year later, in 2015, she thought maybe it was a good time to retire. She made her first stab at that. It lasted about 2 months before they called her to see if she could come down and help bring back to life this center, which had some challenges. And she asked me to help her with that effort. And consequently, we got to share 7 years of interim ministry together. In 2020, her years of dedication to the science of mind teaching and all of those things I couldn't miss, that she was doing for 20 years in Ocala, plus what she was doing here, were recognized. When Centers for Spiritual Living through the Holmes Institute conferred on her, then Reverend Peggy, the degree of honorary doctor of divinity. Now, those of us in the room that spent time in that faculty, she deserved it. We also really wanted to see her. The criteria for that degree. It is conferred upon ordained ministers within Centers for Spiritual Living who have demonstrated outstanding ministerial performance, ongoing financial support for their member community and the organization, excellence in their lives and ministry, a long and distinguished ministry within one or more member communities, and long and distinguished service to the organization. We have many wonderful, amazing, living ministers who put it in here to be the next year. Some of them are in this room. But I know of no other, who so fully lives every moment of her life, every word, guides every season, with such clarity of conviction, both in the value of his teaching and her purpose, serve the spreading of it. So I can think of no one, actually, sure there's some of you that real teacher of ministry. Graduates of the School of Spiritual Leadership, and Israel. Please welcome our keynote speaker, my teacher, my mentor, my mother, Reverend Dr. Peggy Huskett.
That was overwhelming. Wow, I wonder who she's talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, she's right. 28 years ago, on this very stage, I became a graduate of the then Holmes Institute here. I think it was called Ernest Holmes College. And I had taken all my training in this building from Science of Mind 1, which is now foundational, right up through prac training. And all of our classes were, of course, in person at that time. Those were the dark ages, you know, before the internet. And so in 1995, I did graduate and was called to Ocala and served there 20 years and then came back. And I thought about that. I thought, you know, here I am looking back on those years. What would I tell the Peggy that was in 1995, what she should hear from me today that would be of benefit, that I can give those of you who are new ministers and also everyone in the room. I'm not just speaking to the new ministers, it's geared for them, but this idea of being at a gateway of our destiny is the truth for them because they have completed their education to become ministers and their destiny is calling them into ministry, and many of them are already serving as ministers in our movement along with these wonderful people who are serving every day as ministers. And so for us to take that to heart, to understand what a gateway is into any endeavor in our lives. You know, a movie came to mind to me. How many of you have seen the movie Secretariat? Yeah, and remember when Secretariat won the Louisville, Kentucky Derby? And his owner was asked the question, and I want to read it right from the movie because it says it so well. Oh, I've got so many notes up here. Everybody else's notes are here. Oh, here am I.
Sorry.
Okay. An interviewer said, upon winning the Kentucky Derby in record time, a news reporter asked, Penny, it's been 25 years since horse racing has had a Triple Crown winner. Now, is this the horse that finally breaks that streak? And Penny's response is what I'd like you to hear. She says, well, we still have a lot of work to do, but at least we have given ourselves the chance. And that's what you have done as going through ministerial school, going through your practitioner training, and everyone that preceded it, and all of you being called to your destiny, whatever it might be in your life. You have given yourself the chance to become that dream that you have before you because of the work you've done up to this point. And I invite us all to own that. Another favorite old movie that I watched recently is Man from La Mancha. How many love that musical? I love that musical. I watched it twice last week. And in the song, he says, I'm the man from La Mancha. My destiny calls and I go. Now, some definitions of destiny make it sound like it's something outside of us. That's what we're supposed to do with our life. But we, in the teaching of the Science of Mind and in this Centers for Spiritual Living philosophy, I think there's an agreement that before we came into this life, we helped to co-create what our destiny would be. That there's not just spirit telling us what to do because we're one with spirit. And so before we were born, we perhaps chose a destiny that's been unfolding throughout our life up to this point. And I like to think that our ministers, both that have just graduated, those that are on our stage, those that we can think of that are at a distance, and certainly Laura and Gina, you're on this list as well, that you chose to do spiritual work in your life. And the work that you've been doing is culminating in this moment, whether you're just now graduated or well along in your ministry, to follow your destiny. Destiny calls and I go. What does that mean to us as individuals? It's unique. Each one of you, back in 1995, we had one choice. We could be a pulpit minister in this movement, and that was all that was offered to us. I felt very fortunate because that's what I wanted to do. But in years since then, that has widened to a place that people can do different things in ministry, meet different needs in ministry, and many of our ministerial people are doing that now because we're in the 21st century, and just being a pulpit minister isn't all we need to get this news out about this wonderful philosophy. And so each of us, as spiritual beings, have an opportunity to share what we know. And as ministers in this movement, you have a blank check. I said to someone recently, I love to hear commencement exercise keynote speakers. But if I were to go to my kids' college graduations or other things that I've attended, they fall short because they're not allowed to talk about God. They can't talk about spirit. And this is something we're not ever doing on our own, is it? We get to transfer the burden. We get to be a co-pilot with spirit in charge. And I invite us all to know that that's where we are in our lives, no matter what our vocation is, no matter what our family relationships are. We don't have the burden of having it weigh us down because we're the only one doing it. We know that we can take a couple Bible verses perhaps to heart. Jesus said, "Of myself I can do nothing. The Father within doeth the work." And then for us who are speakers, and we might have known that we were speakers from childhood. I used to get into trouble for speaking when I shouldn't. Did any of you get that in school? The only two times I ever got in trouble was first grade and ninth grade, first year in high school. I got a detention in ninth grade for speaking when I shouldn't, and also had to stay after school as a first grader. I got it for a while, but then I forgot, right? So those of us who feel a call to speaking, for us to perhaps remember the words that God said to Moses back in Exodus, where he says, "I will put the words in your mouth. I will be in your mouth and I will teach you what to say." And so for us, as we speak on Sundays or whenever else we're having an opportunity to speak, for us to perhaps step aside, get our bloated nothingness out of the way of the divine circuits, and let Spirit speak through us. Because when we allow Spirit to move through us, we're at our very best, aren't we? It's when we come alive, those of us who have the calling to speak. There's nothing I love better than being right here in this moment at this time and looking at your wonderful faces. I've been called to this kind of work. I've been doing it for 28 years. I don't get to do it often enough, although Reverend Cindy's asked me to speak once this summer in Ocala, so in July I will, and have an opportunity to be up front again. I do have a great joy in being in class, facilitating the School of Ministry students. I don't say too much, but when I say something, it seems to last a while when I'm speaking to them during the class. There's something that needs to be said. Something that came up just recently in youth and family ministry, and one that was in that class is in this room, Sherry. I don't know, did I preach too long, Sherry? The idea was that our centers seem to be attracting only older people. And one can justify that, and it goes way back in our teaching, that someone needs to have years of maturity before they're ready for this philosophy. I refute that. Not every minister is called to speak to kids, but I invite us all to hold a vision for meeting the needs of people at every age with our teaching. And so there's things that we're to do individually, and there are things that we're also supposed to hold a container for to happen in our lives. And this is something that I invite everyone in the room to know that you can do. You may not be called to be a minister. You may not even be called to go to church very often, but I invite you to remember some of those words that were read by Reverend Teresa and Reverend Cindy when they said what we believe in the Global Heart Vision. Can we all envision a world that works for everyone? And we're talking about really young ones. And so for little ones to hear, even before they understand the language, that they are divine spiritual beings. And isn't it wonderful that they chose to come to this plane and be with us? Encourage them from the very beginning of their lives to know who they are as divine spiritual beings, as spirit in expression, choosing to express uniquely as each one of them, growing right up and using the teaching in school and so forth through their years. And we have such wonderful youth leaders in this room that have blessed the young people, two of which I see here that are Chris's kids, and and Harper's looking shy, and Griffin is just wondering, what is she saying about me? This wonderful idea that all of us can hold a vision for a better world. And I love the concept that that's what we do in centers such as this one. And whether we're online or in person, that what we are about is helping people remember who they are. Life gets complicated and we can forget. And so the calling that comes forth for us to express in unique ways is to look at the eyes. And I invite you to look someone in the eyes at this moment that's near you, and just look at how wonderful they are. Look at how divine they are. What a blessing they are to the world. And that's one of the things we get to do as ministers in this movement. We get to see the truth about people, even when they're acting differently. Especially when life gets hard. To have someone else remember who we are as divine in origin, and the potential that's there, that destiny that Reverend Teresa said at the very last line of what we believe in our own soul, our own destiny, because the life of everyone is God. And for us to know that the destiny that's before our graduates here, and Laura and Gina, where I can see you but not see you, in England and New England. Isn't that interesting? I hadn't thought of it just that way right now. That what we are about is answering that call. Destiny calls, and I go. I invite you to all enjoy the journey and know that the unique ways that want to express through you are perfect for what the world needs right now. And so it is.
Wait a minute. Oops. Something is happening. Okay, thank you. I wanted you all to get a really good look at her doctorate degree, a hood. We have some hoods on, but that's beautiful.
Okay.
And see, she certainly deserved that. I'm so glad.
Thank you all.
Right. Okay, you guys, now it's time to do something with our graduates, right? Yeah.
We can do it at the end of that.
Okay, so it's my pleasure to again introduce our 6 ministerial graduates. Oh, they're not on the screen right now. Okay. Each student has successfully completed the Holmes Institute
Out of your way.
with their diploma in spiritual education and their certificate in ministerial studies. Now, this is an intensive training program, a minimum of 2 to 6 years in duration, depending on how they flow through school. Each of these graduates has devoted an enormous amount of prayer, study, time, practicums, and resources in this process. So congratulations to all of you on this moment of accomplishment. So I now invite each graduate, as I announce your name, to please join us on the platform. So, Anthony Suarez. He gets to start everything first. He's in his fancy robe with his.
He's our cardinal.
Okay, Chris Leif from Cape Coral. Diana Escobar with CSL Manatee.
I forgot all about it when I
And
got up there.
Vicki Jeter from CSL Louisville. And her husband, Vernon, who's been as much part of her ministry as she is. Now, we want to introduce and recognize our two graduates on Zoom. Gina Calvario, I say your name wrong, sorry, Gina. Thank you, Rick. I told Rick to find out exactly how you say it. Calvario Krupka, she's from CSL Greater Boston. Okay, plus I have to tell you, she's starting a foundations class, those of you who know what that is, with a church in Barbados. Isn't that neat? That's great. Then we have Laura Topper, and she is running, I hope I get this right, Laura, a Women of Power movement. Nice, she did that. That's good, I got her it right. Her website and her information and what she's doing right now is incredible. Okay, now, so now I got to introduce Reverend Lane. We haven't really even talked about her yet. Reverend Lane is the regional support coordinator for our region is Georgia, Alabama, and Florida. Thank you. Okay. And so she has meetings for us once a quarter, I think. She and I are new to each other, but I knew that I was going to call her. Well, I put her on the save the date back in February or January, right? So she had to write it on her calendar, and then we hadn't spoken again till 2 weeks ago, and I sent her a script so she'd know what we were doing. But she is our representative that will assist me in the confirmation of the diplomas and the certificates for our graduates. Okay, so are you ready? I know. You get that one. All right. Are we ready? Oh. Thank you all. Let's go here. Okay. Oh, the new spring is. All right, excuse me, I need to get back here.
So Reverend Catherine, I have some questions for you. Have these students successfully completed the required course of study prescribed by the Centers for Spiritual Living to receive the Holmes Institute Diploma in Spiritual Education and the School of Spiritual Leadership Certificate in Ministerial Studies?
Yes, they have.
And have these students successfully completed the practicum requirements and all other requirements set forth by the Holmes Institute and the Florida campus?
Yes.
Have these students fulfilled all financial responsibilities to Holmes Institute and the Florida campus?
Yes, they have.
And finally, do these students uphold the consciousness necessary to minister for the Centers for Spiritual Living?
Yes, they have.
Thank you. And now I have some questions for the graduates.
So please stand.
If I can turn the page, I have a question. Your image must reflect a depth and breadth of heart and an inner freedom, which in turn manifests an ability
On the
to
shelf
feel,
in the lecture.
to understand, and to express your great desire to serve. As I read these questions and ask them to you, please affirm with the words I do. Do you, as a minister of religious science, commit yourself to the following ideals: to lead those who look to you for spiritual guidance into an assurance and acceptance of wholeness and well-being, to abide by the truth, and the kingdom of heaven is within you and within all people, to love humankind, to be generous and unselfish in your love, to respect the freedom and dignity of others, and to be free from fear and superstition, to use compassion and warmth when called upon by those who look to you for the loving example of our teaching and practice, to engage in no activities or conduct involving moral turpitude, and to use as a pattern of your conduct the following: whatever you deem commendable in another minister, you shall carefully practice yourself. With equal care, you shall avoid that which you would not commend in another. To remain steadfast and true to the ideas of religious science.
Yes.
Yes. To center your thoughts upon the realization of the divine presence in yourself and in every other person.
Yes.
Yes. And to let the peace of God abide in your heart through love and knowing that your labor is fruitful forever. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, starting with Anthony. Yes. Okay, I'd like to now invite the family and friends who have been chosen to assist in the placing of our graduate stoles to come forward when your graduate name is called. And we will begin, and Reverend Lane will present I will present the family will present the stole, and Reverend Lane will be the one that declares to each to accept their stole and their diploma, which I hear around here. See, we have their diploma. And, okay, that's great. Thank you. Okay, so, Tony, if you would step forward, face Lane, and Marie, your wife, is coming forward.
Karen.
Okay. Here, I'll tell you what, you do this side, and I'll do the other side.
Anthony Suarez, by the power vested in me through the Centers for Spiritual Living, I confer upon you the Diploma of Spiritual Education and Certificate of Ministerial Studies, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining. Congratulations.
Woo!
Chris, thank you.
Beautiful family.
No. You're gonna have to go behind him. Okay, one on each side, and then you're gonna put this. You take this side, you take this side,
Get a
and
hold
you're
of
gonna
it,
put it
Harper.
around his neck.
Oh.
Yeah.
Chris Latham, by By the power vested in me through the Centers for Spiritual Living, I confer upon you the Diploma of Spiritual Education and the Certificate of Ministerial Studies with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining. Congratulations.
Good job.
Diana Escobar.
How many are coming up?
This is Mary Alpha.
Diana Escobar.
Southern.
By the power vested in me through the Centers for Spiritual Living, I confer upon you the Diploma of Spiritual Education and the Certificate of Ministerial Studies with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining. Congratulations.
Woo!
Yes. And oops. I'm gonna have to. Thank you, Tony.
And Nikki Jeter. By the power vested in me, through the Centers for Spiritual Living, I confer upon you the Diploma of Spiritual Education and Certificate of Ministerial Studies with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining. Congratulations.
Woo!
And now we will address our online graduates. Gina Polverio Krupa. I believe there is a stool to be placed.
Oh, look at, there you go.
By the power vested in me through the Centers for Spiritual Living, I confer upon you the Diploma of Spiritual Education and Certificate of Ministerial Studies with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining. Congratulations. And Laura Topper. By the power vested in me through the Centers for Spiritual Living, I confer upon you the Diploma of Spiritual Education and Certificate of Ministerial Studies with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining. Congratulations.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you, Reverend Lane. So I am now happy to present
Very nice.
to you and on the screen, the 2023 graduates of the Home Institute and the Florida campus for the School of Spiritual Leadership. So now, and you guys too, you may move your tassels. All right, now we have in our program answering the call. So Tony, I think you're speaking first, and then Chris, and then Diana and Vicki. And if you want to sit down while the others speaking. They assured me last night, oh no, we can keep it within 3 minutes. But I know ministers can't do that. So we'll see. And you're setting the example.
You should have a button.
Yeah, it's not doing well.
Well, we thank everybody for being here, taking the time to be with us today. Those of you know me, I just came back from my long trip to India, and I toured the great shrines of the Hindus, and the magnificent mosques of the Muslims, the shrines of the Buddhists. Of course, I had traveled and been to the great cathedral of the Christian faith. Now I've completed my studies with the great works in philosophy of New Thought, and that, of course, of Ernest Holmes, the founder of the movement. All of this in search for the meaning of God, where she is and what she wants of me.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
In India, I met a Hindu philosopher who told me that when you work with your hands, it's called labor. When you work with your hands and your mind, it's called craftsmanship. And when you work with your hands, your mind, and your heart, it's called art. Today, I'm with my colleagues and all the people sitting around here who dedicated their lives and their hearts to service of people. Their lives are work of art. Like the song says, let my life song sing for you. This is my moment to say thank you to all those people who have nurtured my life and brought me here. First, my mom, an American hero who raised 3 children out of the South Bronx, all of which would be professional with advanced degrees. She's 93 years old and she's still here with us today. Thank you, Mom. My sister Rose, who's been here always by my side. To my sons, who have filled my life this day with so much joy, and of course, grandchildren. To their mom, Jenny, who's blessed me with those sons and nurtured my early life. Thank you, Jenny. To my daughters, who are here over the last 26 years, that fill my heart, and given me grandchildren. And of course, my wife, Karen, who's put up with me for the last 26 years, not an easy task, okay? Kept my home clean and safe and nurtured me for all these years. To my friend Bob, 53 years when we were in the Army together, he's here through in. Thank you, Bob, for coming. To my friends for the Bar Association who are here, who supported me in my efforts in social work, thank you for being here. For my political friends who are also here, thank you that you've helped me with my social issues that I've done throughout my career. Thank you for coming and the time you're here today. You know, life has its ups and downs. That is the tapestry of my life. It is a work of art that is still in making. All of you were instruments of that tapestry. All of you, my teachers, my friends, my family, have held the paintbrush in the making of that tapestry. And even the dark spots are welcome, because without those dark spots, I could not appreciate the beautiful and bright spots. With them, without them, I could not appreciate what it is. I am thankful for all of you for making of me. And so, for making this day happen. And now, I'll let you go. Thank you.
I don't have anything nearly as eloquent to share as the way that Tony does. That's beautiful. Thank you. I just want to thank all the people that helped support me. And I want to start with my lovely wife, my children, my babies, Dr. Lee Taylor, Parkland the Hip, and Griffin the Hip. Thank you so much. They supported me throughout this time. With all the hours of study, the weekends that I would lock myself into a room to be in class and all that stuff, and self-work, all that stuff. Just supported me throughout the challenges and stuff. Thank you. Take my family back home, my mom and dad, my sister, and all all those who just had the moral support from me from afar. My mother-in-law and her husband, and Dave, showed up when we needed them, showed up at our house. They support, moral support, financial support, all kinds of ways that, you know, it does take a village to raise a minister.
Oh, boy, I love you. So,
How lucky I am and how much support I receive. Now, I want to talk about River City Show, where Dr. David Hospital, who they reached out to me almost 4 years ago. There it goes. Exactly 4 years ago. We'd like to see you enter in the ministerial program. But we were getting also ready to retire. With strong encouragement. And when I didn't know how I could make it happen, how I didn't know I could find the time or find the financial resources to make it all happen, they assured me, when you are doing the call of the Spirit, this is what we're meant to do, it will show up. Offering me something that I didn't know I needed in my life, something I didn't know that I was mine to do. I felt the calling, thank you, encouraged me, and that's what gave me that leap into it. And along those same lines, my longtime prayer partner, who's out here, Rick Davis, and then Reverend June Park in Cleveland, who planted that seed first. They said, I think I can see you in ministry. So if it wasn't for them planting that seed a long time ago, I know I would have argued and not taken the call when you were there.
I love it.
That seed sat there and germinated for a long time. So, I know I'm going to forget some people, so for all those, I apologize. One last, really, a couple more. Somebody that I don't even know, there was part also where the Spirit shows up and supports an unknown to me person that was also helping make sure the commission was always paid on my behalf. And the untold, anonymous support that I received also just kept me going, because I know that somebody saw in me something that I didn't see myself. And I knew I had to honor that generous help that was received. So to that person, I can't say thank you enough. It's one of the blessings. And then finally, I also want to support or thank Center for Spiritual Education Coral, Malika, for making the drive all the way here from Cape Coral. All of my co-students throughout the years, Pastor came forward, Pastor afterwards, and that are here graduating with me today. We're going to have that bond the rest of our lives. And then CSL came forward, seeing something in me as well that I'm still taking time to convince myself that there's something here. So for everybody giving me the gift of my true, I say my big S, capital S self that I was meant to be, I didn't know that I was meant to be. So the transformation that happens.
Thank you.
and growing up and getting all this support. Important. Diana? Oh, Vicky, great. Oh, no, you've been waiting.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to try not to. I am so grateful to be here today with all my friends, family, CSL Manatee, and the AA community, and people in my ministerial school, and everyone who has supported me and encouraged me through my journey thus far. I have to start with my home. Getting into an outpatient room for addiction. They told me to go, and I did. And that's started me in the journey. My mom is there, and that day was that. I have to say that they have a religion in a Catholic and natural health that I think is just a question of God.
I've been seeing in your eyes, and anything they see you grow, and have encouraged me.
Those are her children in the back. You know, in the third row.
I've been sober for 37 years. Thank you to the people who are in the 12-step program, my sponsor, my friends. Thanks, Mom and Dad. They, yeah, I need to talk about that. Also, I'd like to thank my children who have often watched me over the years. They graduated high school with, as well as college, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, I mean, yeah. They have always encouraged me in my studies, and then I said I wanted to quit, they decided to help me out and look at it.
Yes, they did.
And even though they don't understand this teaching, they encourage me. And they're still not finished up. We're going to pursue it. PhD. I'm so proud of myself. Thank you for being here for a very special day. There was a very special person in my path in another 12-step program that taught me about loving God and how that there are no mistakes and anything was possible for me. She invited me to see a sermon at CSL Mountain. I went, and that was when I knew I was home. I was finally home. I knew my place in the world. My journey took off from there. I felt something so strong I wanted to know. So I took all the necessary steps to become a licensed practitioner, and I wanted to learn more, so I went to ministerial school. One of my mentors that is not here today, which is Reverend Jerry. He had some surgery, he couldn't make it, but he's here in the spirit as well. He graduated school at the age of 75, ministerial school, and he said he could do anything he wanted to. And you know, when he talked about the money, he goes, money follows it. And your true dream, it will be there, and it shows up for you. And I want to thank you for that. I want to thank Reverend Catherine, Reverend Marilyn, and Reverend Peggy. They have given me the gift of encouraging me to continue. They told me I will meet the people I am supposed to serve. Just keep moving forward, and I can't thank them enough for their support. The whole time I went to school with them, they just kept encouraging me and said that I have a special gift. And I'm so honored and blessed, and thank them for everything on the city as well. Thank you, Reverend Marilyn. And a special thank you to Reverend Maria Clemente, who is now become our minister for a while. She has given me opportunities and the courage to grow and move in the direction I need to be in. And she's so supportive of me and everybody in CSL Manatee. Thank you so much. I have been with CSL Manatee since 2010. There's been so many people that have supported me here. Some people I lost during COVID. There's been about 2 or 3 people that have transitioned that we lost. And the whole time, COVID might have been a hard time for some people, but it encouraged me to get online and to host for 3 years. And it helped me with my ministry and get our ministry out there online, along with other people. And what I love the most about this teaching is nobody ever told me what to do. They would always say, go within, ask God, sit in spirit, sit still, and you will figure it out. It used to get me a little bit upset because I would want somebody to get the answer. The answers are all inside, they're always inside. If I just wait, be patient, and I've seen that. Dr. Ernest Holmes talks about change your thinking, change your life. He wasn't kidding. Thank you, everybody.
You said it.
Oh, well.
Tested. Thank you very much. Let's start by taking a positive breath. Switch mics. I know how you feel about electronic interference.
It's here.
Very recently, as I approach being completed with this phenomenal program that's been spoken of, I found in one of the classes, it said that there is only love, and yet there's all this multiplicity. And I spent so much of my prayer work coming to understand that somehow it all makes sense. And in that prayer work, what I came to is that it's all love, it's all spirit. And so the only way that the gift of love can continue to be given and received is if there is a receiver. And there cannot be a receiver if it does not appear that there's more than one. So we are all one. We are the givers and the receivers. And I arose from that final meditation realizing that the glory of God is the fulfillment of love. And this is a glorious moment. This is a glorious moment. And every moment we live can be that glorious moment if we remember that there is only one God, one love, and the only way that that gift can be given and received is if we remember that there has to be the appearance of more than one. And so this is a moment fulfilled for me that originated when I was 10, and I need to thank first actually Reverend Catherine Coleman, who was a faith healer back then in the 1970s. If it were not for the dedicated work of Catherine Coleman, I would never have launched into knowing that I wanted to transform my experience of disability. I wanted to do it consciously, and then I wanted to be able to tell people how I created that alignment to allow that to happen, because if there can be one healing, there can be healing for everyone. It is not held back from anybody. And that was the beginning of my journey, and this is launching me into the next horizon. All of the things everybody has been saying about this program has also been my experience. And with that foundation, I can't possibly say thank you, and I love you to all the people who made this happen for me. But I do want to name especially, to begin, I'll start and end in this room. In this room, if y'all notice, Reverend stood up and said that she's his family, and Reverend Rick stood up and said that he is family. And this is only so true. These people are soul family for me. I need to thank Reverend Carolyn Harville, without whom I never would have gotten to this place. She's the primary minister of the center that I started as a study group. I could never have gotten past the study group without Reverend Carolyn Harville. And also, I need to absolutely thank my board of Louisville Center for Spiritual Living. Those people, you know, you're supposed to be able to do a board for a minimum of 2 years, maybe 4. And there are people on the board of Louisville Center for Spiritual Living that have been there for 15 years. And so, finally, I need to thank my family. And some people have said, some parents who are living, and there are some parents who are not, but they are here. Those of us who have parents who have transitioned, they are in this room. Thank you, God, to my mom and dad. Finally, you all have met my loving husband. Vernon, would you just stand up for me for just a moment? None
of his journey, or we will say for spiritually would be what it was, is today without my husband Vernon. He is truly the wind beneath my wings. And I know a lot of us feel that way. So he stands here today representative of all of us who have
Gina goes first. All right, Gina, come on, you're up next. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Good. All right, take it away.
I am very, very excited to be here well, first of all, thank God for this unexpected that I meant to go to. But God definitely sent me. I want to thank who is just my gift. Greatest. I want to thank this Cell Box community and board and friends and family that are here and ones. I have so many people that I've been blessed to be loved by that have supported me every step of the way. And there's just so much gratitude that I have in my heart. I want to thank Concordia and the beloved community that I came from in Rhode Island, that spiritual community, and my, Reverend Ian, my instructor. And I want to thank my classmates, the 6 of us that are here is one thing, but there's an entire Holmes education, the entire group of classmates worldwide that were part of my education that I'm very grateful for. For the faculty and instructors that you see today, and I just want to mention that although Reverend Dr. Tony couldn't be in Florida, she is online. So her face is scrolling through with all of us. She is here. And, I want to thank CSL Global, knowing that we are the change makers and that we are the ones that are going to create a new type of spirituality. And I'm very grateful to have that. And I'm going to take one more minute, and I have a poem called Change that I'm going to share. Our memories anchor the story of our life, but are not meant to keep us in place. The world is constantly shifting, and it seems to pick up pace. Life itself is fluid with ups and downs and so many twists and turns. All are there that we may learn, not simply through education, but even through consternation. There will be joy, pain, and everything in between, but the one constant will always be change. You will transform from cared for to caregiver, and from witness to the liver, and it will happen over and over again. For the one truth about any part of life, if you wait a bit, things will change. So embrace the waves and movement and allow it to carry or push you through. But be certain that every step of the way, all you really need is within you. Thank you all. Laura, you're up.
Oh, hi. Okay, I didn't know if I was to go. So, Reverend Catherine, this is a hard task to explain and from my heart, my calling and my gratitude in 3 minutes. You're right. I could be here for 3 days. And yet I know we all have things to be getting on with. So I'm going to try and keep this as concise as possible. I was told as I entered into this amazing education, ministerial education, or this next step that I was taking 4 years ago, a minister said to me that becoming a practitioner is a wonderful invitation to transform beliefs and see life anew. And that becoming a minister invites the opportunity to radically transform your life in every way imaginable and unimaginably. And it is like spiritual life coaching on steroids. Well, at that time, I had no idea what would happen for me. And now I know. The adventure has been absolutely incredible. So many changes and transformations for me and my life, in ways that if I would have known at the beginning, I would have said, no way, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to completely change and transform and go through these experiences. And yet it was with the support and the love and the care of so many people that I was with and that I am with now, my friends, the incredible teachers and guides and mentors who have been there, rock solid, and people that I've met from all around the world, not only in Holmes Institute and CSL, you know, the Orlando campus, but also because I keep saying yes to wanting to explore and expand and be interested in other people and projects and all sorts of beautiful things. So I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be here now and to have completed this education, which is really more than an education. It's a transformation. And there have been so many difficult times, frustrating times, and so many times of joy and laughter and completion and feeling amazing, and yes, walking on air, and also dark nights of the soul. It's been a mix, a whole complete mix of emotion, learning, growing, and transforming. And I know that there are those that I feel are my family, of course, my family of origin, who are amazing, my parents and my sister and my aunts and uncles, and my soul family and friends, some who are here now, and some who I may have just spoken to for 5 minutes on the phone for whatever reason, and yet woven into the fiber of this time that I've been studying and learning and growing. So yes, I want to thank the amazing teachers, Reverend Anya Slater here in the UK, Reverend Erica, who I know is here, and the teachers that I know that I will still be connected with, and as I future learn and take this teaching further with my my geeky compulsion to research and learn and grow. So I will continue with that in glorious ways, I hope. And I really would love to thank Jason, now my husband, because in the middle of all of this, we got married, and that was incredible to be with Jason through this whole journey, who's been the most amazing support. I mean, he's the one that's been in the background bringing me dinners. If you've seen him on Zoom, he's coming in with the dinner or the tea or the coffee while I'm kind of studying and writing and learning. And so I know that the support of Jason has been immense, and I just thank him from my heart. And my daughter Amelia, who also has compelled me to keep going through the journey that we've had together, however that may have seemed at times. And I'm grateful for God, and for knowing God in my heart and choosing to live from principle and making that choice every moment, every day, as much as I can. And I'm grateful for my commitment to grow and expand and to share this beautiful teaching with those that choose to hear it from me at whatever point in time that is. So thank you to everybody at Florida Campus and Holmes Institute and CSL. And I'm just going to leave with this. There's one life. That life is God's life. And that life is perfect. And that life is my life now. And so it is.
And so it is.
Yeah.
Well done. Well said.
So it is.
Thank you, Laura. That was beautiful. All of your sharing was beautiful. Let's see, the 3 times, would we say 18? We're just taking the time. We know how ministers like to talk. We were all at dinner last night together, and so we had some laughs about other times. Now I wanted to invite Reverend Marilyn, who has been the campus registrar. Reverend Marilyn and I went to ministerial school 30 years ago, 40, something like that. We've known each other for 40 years. We went to minister, ended up at the same place in a student body meeting. Oh, you're in school. Oh, you're in school. And then went to ministerial school together and have been friends ever since. So it's wonderful. I asked her, I said, I know that you're perfect in writing a blessing of our new ministers. And what is so incredible is to think about they are the newest ministers in the Centers for Spiritual Living international movement right now. Right? That's right. There are nobody else that's newer than they are. And I always found that intriguing. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
It's not only a privilege, blessing, but I have to say that it's been an honor to be blessed by every student that has come through, either in my capacity as an instructor in some of the classes or as a registrar, handing out grades that they have earned. So, as we just heard Anthony, Chris, Diana, Vicki, Gina, and Laura speak from their hearts, I realized that watching them grow into ministry, seeing how each one has answered the call, and the labor of love with which they move through this process, to me, is evidence of their true commitments. And that's been quite a journey. With love and delight, I bless each of you with a joyous journey that while serving others, you have a sense of humor and can laugh at yourselves.
Is anyone aware of us on Zoom cannot hear the people that are speaking at the podium?
Compassion and spirit, a consciousness of oneness, and a caring soul. I bless you with hope and resolve that buoys your spirit in times of sorrow and sadness, which will be followed by rejoicing and celebration. I bless you with the prayers of all who have gone before you, as they have set a tone of kindness, tempered with an empathetic nature. I bless you with light along your way, that you may share that light and always see and express. For each of you, I bless you with wisdom, that you may have the right words when you need them. Take a stand for your values when necessary, and be open to Spirit's guidance every step of the way. And now I invite you to join in prayer for our graduates, as we know that there is only one life, and it is their life, filled with many blessings, given and received. The pathway is marked by the footprints in the sand, and their lives are expressions of the source of love, the creator of life. I give thanks for each of them, and as I release these words into universal law, I expect and accept only the highest good to be the gift of their future. And together we affirm.
And so it is.
Thank you.
Okay, I know it is 3:45. We were going to be done by 3:30 because I'm noticing people, you know, we all have bladders but we're just about done. Thank you, Reverend Marilyn. I think that was a beautiful blessing. I appreciate that. So I have some gratitude and acknowledgement right now for people. And I offer my heartfelt gratitude to Reverend Martin, who helped me until today. But I know he's going to be fine. I was with him when he was over at CSL Florida Gulf Coast in Largo, and so was Reverend Laura Rosewood, and we're helping that community right now revive after his leaving. But he had some electrolyte problems, and so we know that and trust that he's just going to be fine after those get stabilized. So, but I appreciate him, and for him saying yes to hosting. And Joe Solar, where is he? There he is. He is the president of the Board of Trustees.
Jack of all trades.
And I appreciate you knowing that you helped put all this on, as well as Tony is a member here, for all of our seating and so on. And our incredible musicians.
Yeah, we are appearing back there.
Jonathan would call and say, okay, what's that script again? He sent me the music. I said, yep, looks perfect. And then Paul, Shellam, and Edward, but Paul in the leadership.
And Edward.
For this AV, I remember 2021, when we had our last graduation here. And we had one of our graduates from Australia, Jeffrey Smith. And then we had another one from Canada. No, she was from not Rhode Island, whatever. Raleigh, North Carolina, couldn't come, and so she came on. So, and we just couldn't see them. It was not a good time. But today was perfect, and Laura and Gina, I hope you feel as included as those that could be present. Okay, so Paul and Cindy stepped in this week when on Monday there were some things that just couldn't be right, and I called Cindy and I said, well, Cindy, you're the only one that knows anything about this event. So she and I worked pretty closely and hard this week. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate Paul stepping in that way. So. And we had 3 when I asked them if they would help in the robing room, trying to get these on and off. It's not a feat you can almost do alone. So Lorraine Roy, and where is Sherry Cunningham and Martha Green? You guys can stand up so we can recognize you. And they also helped us line up. And of course, Rick McCullum, but I'm going to talk more about him in a minute. Okay, so I think, and a thank you to Anthony and Karen. You all need to know that they have donated the reception that you're going to experience in just a few minutes.
Woo! Thank you.
And we appreciate them. Okay, now I have an announcement. After 12 years, I took over the satellite, and then we answered our request for proposal, turned this into a campus, and we've been running it for about, 11 years. And time for me to retire. I decided last March. So I called Reverend Cindy, not
Grimes.
James, Grimes. I know, I get so much from her, I forget the last name. Cindy Grimes, if you want to stand up, an alumni. She was in our first graduation class with 2 others in 2015. Now, I have to tell you, I looked up. I have graduation programs from when Reverend Cindy graduated, which was 2010, right? And then we go to 2015, and that was Cindy and George and Ed. And then we went to 2016, and Rick had a fabulous graduation. Look at that picture if you ever want to see it up close.
It was a long graduation.
That was his, what do I want to say? His design of how he wanted to have graduation. She got to plan it himself. All right, then we had 2017, and that was Elizabeth, stand up. And that was Jerry Gregg. You heard Diana talking about him. Johanna Jensen, who is in Finland, Netherlands, that's it, and is taking her ministry there. Rodney Gittens is in One Life Center in New York, and then Teresa Fiebert, stand up. It was 2017. Okay, then we have 2018, and that was Lisa Bozeman, and she was going to come down and help, but couldn't, hurt her foot. And Jane Burnett, they were twins going through school. Jane is from, she's CSL Graham in North Carolina. Barbara Call, who unfortunately cancer took her just as she graduated. Mary Ellen Cassie from
Canada, Toronto.
Yeah, Canada, I knew that, but I'm trying to think of where it is. And she's doing a fabulous ministry for families who have people in prison. And we have Marie Kirkland, and she has an online and in-person ministry in, where am I missing? In where? North Carolina, yeah. And then Amy Papalopoulos is coming down in July to speak at CSL Florida Gulf Coast in Largo. So that's wonderful. She is with Columbus, Ohio. And then Tom Pittman is running of a focus ministry with 12-step programs and Science of Mind and how they fit together. And then Teresa Slusher is in Georgia with her husband, and they are part of Greater Cincinnati. No, it's not. Columbus. Cleveland.
Yeah.
I should have looked them up. I didn't know. What?
It takes a village.
Yeah, it does. Right. And this is the 2021 graduates, which included Jeffrey Smith from Australia, Jean Bell from Atlanta, Dan Granda, who has a great ministry also. Jean Bell's in Atlanta. Dan Granda is Soul Evolution Collaborative. And Kamara Johnson, she was from New Mexico. Jackie Labar from Connecticut. Ryan Pulley, only it's Ryan Alexander now. She got married. And Jim Rigsby, who's a chaplain, unbelievable, in Asheville, North Carolina. And Laura Rosewood is here today, and she is the associate minister in CSL Florida Gulf Coast. So we kind of work together there a little bit. And then Kathy Watson was from Canada also. And anyway, it was great. Now, we didn't have a graduation in 22. Well, I forced a graduation in 2021. No matter what anyone here said, no matter what the graduates said, I said, we are having a graduation because we couldn't do it 2020 because of COVID. So we had a beautiful ceremony there. And then now we have 2023 with more in school that are going to graduate not too long from now. So I really have enjoyed this role as a dean. And I will tell you, I had a vision for this because I've been a president of nonprofit college, for-profit colleges and community colleges and director of colleges. So I knew how to put a profitable program together. And my vision when I went to ministerial school was to end my career training ministers, running a school. And I thought in March, when I got too tired to do this anymore, I said, okay, now I need to retire. So who are we going to have take my place? They don't do that at home office very well. And so I called Cindy Grime, and she put her head together in thinking about people. Then she called Teresa Fiebert, and she called me and was all excited. Both of them were, and Teresa wanted to take it down there in Sarasota, and her board wouldn't let her, because this is a lot of work if you're a senior minister also. So Vicki told you about Rick's story and how he was in Louisville for a year, and guess what? He didn't have any ministerial center commitment right now. Now, I want to introduce Reverend Rick McCullum. He was the graduate in 2016. He helped me with a lot of organizational skills. So I want to, where is he? Okay. So I'm going to tell you a little about him. Reverend Rick, so that when you go to the reception, that is going to be really good, thanks, is licensed and ordained minister with the Centers for Spiritual Living. He has been involved in New Thought for over 35 years. Reverend Rick holds a master's degree in Health Services Administration from Webster University, and a master's degree in Consciousness Studies from the Holmes Institute. Now, throughout his 40-year career as a registered nurse, he inspired and cultivated nurses to grow professionally, attaining advanced degrees and certifications. His leadership skills were evidenced in his success as a director of home health services, a director of infusion operations and a hospice administrator. And Rick also has demonstrated business skills as he successfully managed a multi-million-dollar sales territory for a pharmaceutical company. Now, people don't believe me, but it takes a little sales knowledge to have people come into the ministry, because you got to find out, do they work? Do they have families at home? What is their pattern, and how can we work it into their life right now? So I'm so pleased for Rick's background, knowing that I didn't get my leadership skills from school. It was actually through colleges and other things. So after graduation from Holmes Institute and School of Spiritual Leadership, in 2016, Reverend Rick served as senior minister of CSL Parker, which is outside Denver, Colorado. I mean, they really grew. He took it over when there were 35 members and $500 in the bank. And under his leadership, they grew to 98 members and over $100,000 in the bank. So, cultivating the spiritual consciousness of this congregation, he offered CSL certified classes every quarter. And he also trained 8 practitioners at CSL Parker. 2 of his students now have gone into the ministry. Reverend Rick left this thriving spiritual community when the altitude caused him major health issues, and he was advised to move back to Florida. And I was really glad. Oh, I thought you were, no, that's great. It was good timing, right. Okay, so Rick lives in Boca Raton, but the neat thing about being dean of a campus, you can live anywhere and run and be a dean, because we have students from Australia, England, Canada, and all up and down the Northwest. So his experience and leadership allowed him to share essential framework for the many areas that the board was lacking. Included in the work was a template for an annual meeting, new member class, and budget development. So his leadership was a stabilizing force for every place he was. Rick currently serves as a mentor and spiritual guide for several CSL ministers on their path to ordination. So, Rick, come on up here, right here. Now, we got him approved. It was quite a process, but see, I already knew when Rick said, yes, I'd love to step in and do this. I was wondering what I was going to do next. And so anyway, I am so excited to have you. It took us a couple of months to get him approved through everything you have to do at home office. And he went to the retreat down in Oregon with all of the students that are currently in school, like Malika and Sherry and, well, Tony went out there too, but anyway, and they had a great time and bonded. So on September 1, he will be taking over as the dean. Woo! And I said, all right, well, Cindy did, since I was going to do this, talk about my retirement and him taking over, Rick can do the benediction. And wait a minute, recessional. The graduates are going to begin the recessional back here. We've got an excellent song being played, fun song. And
Cindy and
then,
I are going to.
what? And then we go. And then our teaching ministers and visiting here. And then you.
But first, we have a presentation.
Yes, you know, Reverend Catherine has made this all about everyone else but herself. And so in September, when there's an actual transition for the deans, we'll have another celebration, perhaps right here. It's a wonderful idea. But before we leave here today, it's time for us to recognize Reverend Catherine. So Reverend Cindy has flowers for you.
Beautiful.
Yes, let's stand in recognition of Reverend Catherine. Without her, the Florida campus would not exist. And so all those that have graduated in the recent years from this campus already know that you owe that to her. And for us to all acknowledge that and look forward to a time to really go into detail, because we're running out of time.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah, so now you can benedict us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with great gratitude for this time of coming together and the energy
Really
here in this
tired.
room, the energy
But
across
that's
the
from my stroke.
ethers for each of these graduates. I speak my word of blessing on each one of them as they move into the world to share their light and to make the changes that create the world that works for everyone. So I bless each one of us as we move from this place now. I bless our reception time and all that we consume in food and in fellowship and in love, knowing that it nourishes our souls and lifts us up to be Spirit in action. And so it is.
So it is. Yes.
laughter out here. It's a good time, and your laughter too.
Ah, I
We
love
will
you.
celebrate